So this is my solution for valid anagram in Leetcode. So at first, what's an anagram? So anagram is basically, let's say you have two sets of strings or string characters, right? If they have the same amount of letters, meaning same alphabet, let's say two A's and three B's, things like that, then they are an anagram, right? So we have to create a program that would check its validity, right? So that's why valid, we have to return a boolean if it's true or false, right? Then we can go ahead with the posted solution that I have. So my first intuition was I need to check if two given strings have the same characters, right? So if they don't have the same length, definitely it's not an anagram, right? Then I'd like to basically sort them, and if they're sorted uh, like alphabetically, then I can compare if they're the same. However, that would take more time, so instead I used map, so to have like a quick access time of one constant. So my expectation from my approach would be, if at any time I check the value of my map, all the keys, which are the characters, right? If all of their values are at 0, it means that it is a valid anagram, right? The reason for this logic is in my first pass for the first set of strings, I'll basically create my map, key value pairing, key being the characters or letters, and the value being the frequency of that specific letter, right? And the second pass for the second set of string, I would now, instead of adding to the frequency count, I would now decrease the frequency count, right? So that's the idea. So first, validate if both are equal lengths, as I mentioned. Iterate over the first string, use the character's key and frequency is valid in the map, as I mentioned a while ago too. And this one as well, iterate. If all validation has passed, so as you can see the code, we keep adding validation, then keep doing what we wanted, like update the map and reduce the frequency. Time complexity, it's O of n. If you dissect it further, it's O n plus n, which is still O of n, meaning linear. And space complexity is O of n, because using a map and adding those would be O of n as well. So here we go. Check same length, have your map, iterate the first string, add one value. Okay, this is a put, so you add a key, the character, and the value I want to add is basically a get or default. So what it means is if C is in the map, this character is in the map, then you should get its value and then plus 1. Let's say I already have a value of a equals 2, it will be a equals 3 after this plus 1. If I don't have, let's say, the letter A yet, then it will give a default value of 0, and then I would add a plus 1 as well. So I would say A equals 1 after this operation. Okay? And the next one is the second pass. If in any case we found something that would make it an invalid anagram, let's say if I see a character, if I don't see a character in that map, then return false right away, right? It's like if I have a first string car and the second string is, let's say, tar, letter T, check for T is not there, then return false right away. Don't need to loop all the way. Next is if when I check the map, right, the key is there, however, is the value is already 0. Remember, in our intuition is it should only be at 0, right? But if I see a 0 right away, and in this logic, I would need to deduct 1 because I see it, right? then it's no longer an anagram, meaning the second string has more of that same letter. Let's say the first string is, let's say, car again, and maybe the second string is AAR, something like that, right? Next is if they pass these validations, then we basically just update that key value pairing. As you can see, there's a get or default again, but this time -1, right? Because probably I should refactor this. This doesn't make sense somehow, but let's see. But for now, this is the solution. And okay, let's head back and maybe refactor that and maybe just do a get, because we are now certain that it should have a value, right? Because we already have a validation there, contains key. So let's see if this works, and remove this printout as well. Submit, and that works. Awesome.